Okay, the recording has started. So, hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, 5 Secrets to Growing Your Creative Arts Business. I'm really super excited that you are here today, and I can't wait to share what I've learned over the years and what my clients and the members of ICAP Member Studio have learned. So first, thank you so much for taking time from your day. Before we get started, if you haven't already, I'd love to know who's here and where you're from. We had a lot of people sign up for the call, and I recognize some of the names, but not the others. So some of you are also on live and some of you are on the phone. So if you haven't already done so, please put your name in the chat box because I'm curious where you're from. And I see that Cynthia is now a poultry farmer, so that's kind of cool. Linda says she sees someone on the sidebar, but you don't see something over the slides, correct? Okay, and Lori, originally a Marylander. That's what I am. Originally from DC, but have lived in Maryland most of my life now. So great. So I love seeing where everybody is from, so that's pretty exciting for me. Now, I'm really excited about what I am going to share here today. And I really want you to get the most from the webinar. And I know that you're taking time from your day, and what I want that to be is of value to you. So I'm going to share as much as I can in the time we have together. And I'd really love to tell you that I have simple answers to turn your business around. The truth is, it takes smart ideas and bold, consistent action to lead to profitable results. And as I said, I want this to be really valuable for you. So here are certain tips that will make it more so. Welcome. Honor yourself and your time while you're here. Put your phone away, unless you're using your phone. Close your office door so you don't have distractions. Have your paper and pencil ready to take notes. Turn off everything else in the background, your email programs, Skype, iTunes, the extra windows in your browsers. You might even want to make the webinar full screen on your device. Listen to the content, make some notes. I have so much information to share, and I honestly looked at it this morning and I went, oh my gosh, there's too much here. I have to take more out. So I know you're going to walk away with information that you can apply right now, right away, that's going to make a difference in your business. And that's my promise to you for taking this time. I also promise that if you ask questions in the chat, I'll go back and answer them when we get finished. I hope you came today expecting to learn and to have some fun. And I'm looking at this webinar as a partnership of sorts. I'm going to teach you what I know, and your goal is to take action. One of the tips I want to say is, don't let your limiting beliefs hold you back. How many times have you been to something, or you've heard somebody say, or you've said yourself, I already know that. And so you've closed yourself off. And my question is, you might think, well, I already know that. My question to you is, are you doing that? Because if you were, you would be getting different results. So you need to be really open here. So why am I doing this webinar? I believe it's possible to craft the business and life of your dreams from your creative endeavors. And I love the arts and the legacy they leave, and I've been in this for a long time. And I genuinely want to help you get your art out in the world and profit from it. And it's just not you that profits from this. It's the rest of the world. Now, I will talk later about our ICAP Member Studio. And this is one of our programs that has really had a significant impact on the results of many creatives. People have left their day jobs, their spouses have come to work for them, and they make a profit with their art. I know that you will get similar results if you put in the work. And I want you to know that if the program's not right for you, you're still going to leave with a lot of actionable ideas to grow your business without paying a thing. That's important to me to help you grow your business. I want to add to be sure to stay to the end because I will have a special bonus for you. Before we get started, I want to ask you another question. That's why we have this little chat up here. When did you decide that you wanted a career in the arts? And you can answer that in the group chat. Did it show up when you were a young child, or was it something that you always thought about and hadn't pursued just yet? So go ahead and share that on the chat. I remember sewing as a young girl, mostly Barbie and other doll clothes. I sold them to my sisters and their friends. My first paid job in the arts was when I was at the end of the 4th or 5th grade, and I ran an arts camp in the summer. I planned the curriculum, found kids to come, and did it in my parents' backyard for a couple of weeks. Fast forward into my 20s, and that's when I decided that I really wanted to create a business on the side with quilting. So we've got, Lynette was young, about 12. Susan waited till she retired. Sandy in the early 2000s after her kids went to school. Patty, 2006. Linda, 2006, when her grandmother was moving to a nursing home. Cynthia showed up when she was young. She hated to sew. She loved to crochet. But what really turned it around was when she designed the B&B. Lori, when she decided to move west. And Susan, when her son was in 2nd grade. So we all came to this at different stages in our lives, which is really wonderful because there's always something we can do in the arts, whether that's our career or not, but having it there is wonderful. So I know that you also came to this webinar with a variety of experiences. Some of you are just starting out in your business, and some of you have been in business for a while. So let's look at some more. Celine, when she became a stay-at-home mom. Lori knew she wanted to be a sewing teacher in high school. So it's really interesting, as I said, we have a really wide range of people here. So regardless of when you decided that you wanted this career or where you are in your career, you are in the right place. If you want to focus on the right things to move your business to the next level with confidence. If you're feeling overwhelmed at all that you could be doing and don't know where to start or focus. If you've been in business a while and you aren't where you thought you'd be by now. And if you want to make good money and have fun with your art. So what are you going to learn today? You're going to leave with strategies and tactics that you can put in place beginning now, right now, to stay focused on accomplishing your goals to build a successful and a profitable creative arts business. Now, you might actually be wondering why I'm doing this webinar. Before I tell you, I'm curious how many of you have been on a webinar with me before and how many of you are new. I'm asking you a lot of questions, aren't I? So I'm just curious. You can answer. We'll kind of come back and see who's been on my webinars before. I've got several reasons for doing this webinar. And first is I really feel committed to supporting creative arts folks make money and make art. I came from a family that treasured art. My mom was an artist and she encouraged art in her 5 daughters. And I can see the difference that art made in her life from my childhood through the time that she struggled with early onset Alzheimer's. In the end, really only being able to hold a pencil, and she drew from the wrong end. Her soul was art, and to me that was beautiful. Another reason is that by sharing my knowledge, I'm sharing my thought leadership. I've spent years working as an artist, studying business for artists, and helping artists build businesses. I want to establish greater thought leadership and credibility with a larger audience so I can impact more people. To reach more people, I also need to put myself out there more, and that's another reason to do this webinar. It lets me reach more clients, more ideal clients, and I think it's kind of fair. You're providing your name for me to be on my email list, and I'm providing you with valuable information. I hope that you think that's fair too. My goal is really to win you all over as customers one day, and I'm looking forward to your joining the ICAP Member Studio when it's right for you. Those who know me know that I teach about getting people to know, like, and trust you. And that's because people buy from people, and they have to know you. This gives you another chance to know me and what I have to offer. And at some point when you're looking for someone to help you, whether it's in a class, a conference, or as a business coach, I hope you think about me. While I will offer you something today, my goal is always about providing high value and high content to help you build your business. When it comes right down to it, I believe the world needs your art, and you need the tools to get it out in the world. Since we have some new people on the call, I want to share just a little bit about myself. I've loved sewing and art since I was a young child. I threaded needles for my great-great-grandmothers when I was 3, was hand sewing doll clothes at 6, and was at the sewing machine well before the age of 10. My own art was encouraged from an early age, largely because, as I said, my mom was a watercolor artist. Today, her paintings, those by one of my sisters, my own, and those of artists I admire, hang in my home. I worked as a professional fiber artist, teaching and selling my own work for many years. I was a member of 2 fine arts cooperatives and sold my work in juried craft shows and by commissions. And I faced a lot of challenges along the way. I learned lots too, both from my wins, taking risks, and making mistakes. And I'm willing to bet you made some of those same mistakes too. When I take time and I really look back on my long career in the arts, I can see that it's always been about creating a legacy and building a connection. Sewing's in my blood, from those great-great-grandmothers to my mother, the watercolor artist, and I can still hear her telling me not to race her sewing machine as I put my foot to the pedal. Today, nothing really gives me greater joy than teaching my nieces to sew and quilt. And in fact, one just finished her first quilt so that she could take it to college at the end of August. I want my family to feel the same joy in their lives that I feel from the arts. I also feel the same way about the creative arts business and the artists and entrepreneurs who make it up. If we want the industry to thrive, we have to offer professionals resources to help them grow their businesses and to help them and you realize that being an artist, a maker, and building a successful business aren't contradictory. Like many of you, I worked my creative arts business around family commitments in the beginning. Today, I love the lifestyle and business that I've created. And like many of you, I faced lots of challenges to get my work out in the world and be rewarded for it. Did I always make money at it? No, at least not until I figured out what I was missing. Today, my passion is helping creative artists and entrepreneurs to craft business success from this passion to create that we share. To me, it's another way of creating a legacy in the arts. Time for the secrets. So let's get into them. I want to say, really, they're not so much secret. You likely know them and just aren't really following through on them. When I wanted to put this webinar together, I asked a lot of people what their challenges were. And you may have answered my email, posted on my Facebook pages, or sent me another email about this. I got a lot of responses, and I wasn't really surprised by them. They fit into a lot of categories. I'd heard them before, and I picked five areas to focus on. So, secret number one, treat your business like a business, not a hobby. Yes, this hardly seems like a secret, but it's the one thing that people continue to disregard. And this is so critical to your success. In fact, I might say it's more important than what you produce or how you market. This is really about your mindset. I officially started my quilt business in 1978 at the suggestion of my accountant. He thought it would be a good tax write-off at the time. I thought, great, I can make money to pay for my quilting stash. Of course, a lot of us started that way. For years, I approached the business, and yes, that's what I thought I really had, as a hobby. Sure, I kept my books. I used a quilt engagement calendar, and I drew a line down the page, and I wrote my income on one side and my expenses on the other, and I tracked my mileage. At the end of the year, I added up all the numbers to see where I was, and as long as the money coming in equaled the money going out, I thought I was okay. Most years I had a really tiny profit, and some years I didn't. So technically I met the IRS requirement for a business. I was showing a profit, albeit small. I'm not sure the word profit is accurate. I was spending time in my business. I was keeping accurate records. But did I really have a business or a hobby? A real business is set up to make a profit. The hobbyist sells for other reasons, perhaps to cover costs. If I look back in the beginning, I was definitely a hobbyist. And there's nothing wrong with being a hobbyist if that's your choice. At some point, though, I decided that I really needed to have a profitable business. And then I decided I wanted a thriving business. Of course, just deciding that the physical profit needed to be there isn't enough. You need to deal with what's going on inside your head about how you view yourself and your business, how you present yourself and your business to others, and how others perceive you and your business. First, how do you view yourself and your business? Businesses exist to make a profit, and they're entitled to do so. Are you okay with this idea? Not everyone is, and this is particularly true in the arts. People think they are sharing, and they should only be compensated for what they put into the art. Many people don't expect to be compensated for the development of their talents. You need to spend time considering that you are a business owner. You're an entrepreneur. I remember some years back, I was in my first mastermind, and I was looking at what I was doing and what I could do, and I had a lot of big dreams, and I announced to the others in the room that I was creating an empire, a creative empire. So I want to ask you, how do you look at yourself? What are you building? Do you think that you deserve the success to make a profit from your art? That's a tough question, actually. Next, you need to think about how you present yourself and your business to others. Maybe you've gotten comfortable with this idea of business owner, but do you fully own it to others, including your family and friends? Do you say, I make quilts, or I paint, I take photos? Or do you say, I run a quilt design studio, or I run a photography studio? How you represent yourself to the outside world really speaks volumes. It makes a declaration to others, but it also sends a message back to you. Related to this is how others perceive you. You might think you're presenting yourself as a business, but maybe that's not the case. So does your family think this is your hobby that brings in some extra fun money, or do they think of this as a legitimate business? Do they actually see you work? I can tell you that more than one client of mine has struggled with family members or friends not realizing that they weren't hobbyists, or not thinking their business was really serious. In some cases, the solution was simple: a conversation outlining why the business was important, or posting a sign with office hours on the door. After all, isn't that really what real businesses have? Conversations about their vision and hours of operation? I want to ask you how you prioritize your art in your business day. Do you make your art business a priority, or does it just fit into the rest of your life? Granted, many of you may be part-time artists or have other obligations, but how does your art fit into the time that you do have? Do you have set hours to work? Do you take off lunch for shopping with your friends or family rather than creating art or working on your marketing? If you're going to run your own business, then you have to remember how real businesses operate. They have schedules and deadlines, and their owners need discipline and focus. So go back and think about how you spend your time and get serious about it. Track it so you know where you place your priorities. If you find they're not on your business, you need to make a shift. Also, give some thought to who you hang out with. I love the thoughts of Jim Rohn, business philosopher who died a couple years ago. And he said that you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So are you hanging out with people who understand you're running a business or not? Are you hanging out with other business owners? Are you hanging out with people who support your vision? That's something I try to do. I didn't always do that. I can see how it makes a difference. While we don't have time to go into a lot of depth on this call, think too about how you value your time and your expertise. Too many artists do not put enough value on their work and they undercharge. You may be thinking, no one will buy your art at the price you feel you deserve. And I think you probably deserve more than you think. Well, people will buy it at that price. And I found that out myself. You need to value yourself more and look in the right places for those perfect clients. Those people are out there waiting. One thing I want you to think about too is what we could call your big why. Why did you start this business? And I'm going to say the reason for your why can change over time. But why did you start this? Why are you in this business now? Being in touch with that is what really gets you up in the morning. And it also what keeps you coming back to your business when you're struggling. Secret number 2, watch your money. Let's talk money, specifically watching your money. This is clearly related to treating your business as a business, not as a hobby. And I know I actually talk about money a lot, and that's because I think artists think they don't understand numbers. It's too left-brained, and that maybe, just maybe, they bought into that starving artist mindset at some level. And the money issue is largely mindset. And I'm sure that you realize that your relationship with money is important to your business growth. It seems obvious, doesn't it? And I know that you had a lot of reasons for starting your business. And one of them was to make money at something you loved. What's odd is that we want to make money to support our lifestyle and make a contribution, but at the same time, we sabotage our efforts with our mindset around money. And as I said, any of us can work on our mindset as it relates to finances, and any of us can learn how to understand our numbers. What I think is really important to grow your business is to do what I call own your numbers. By that, I mean looking at them on a regular basis and making decisions based on what you see. For starters, I'd like you to write down what numbers you look at on a regular basis now. I know in the past I didn't look at my numbers very often. I was actually afraid to look at them because I thought they weren't going to be what I wanted to see. So it's not necessary that you're the one that puts the numbers together either. You can have a bookkeeper that does this for you. What is important is that you understand how the money operates in your business and what to do with that information. It's really about becoming familiar with the terms that are used. If you think about it, you've run your own households, and that was really a matter of looking at the money coming in, using that money to pay the bills and buy what you might need. Hopefully you had some money left over at the end of the month to save for the future. It's about managing your money. It's really the same thing in your business. only you are managing your business. So if you can manage your personal finances, you can manage your business finances. Okay, I can already hear some of you saying, I just don't understand numbers, and this stops me from really growing the way I want to grow. So I want to share 4 suggestions, 4 keys for how to approach this problem. If you don't understand accounting, ask somebody to explain it to you. You can ask your accountant. You might have a friend who's a bookkeeper, or you can take an online course from lynda.com or the Khan Academy. There's people out there who can explain this to you, and it's really not that hard. And ICAP has a book on bookkeeping, which is pretty basic, and we're putting together a product, it's a reprint from some previous issues of the magazine on understanding reports that you need to do. So learn the basics, learn the lingo. Start tracking your numbers on a regular basis. Track your income. You can do this daily if you want to, or weekly, depending on the size of your business. Look at your bank statement when it comes in. Look at your credit card statement and your expenses. Watch your expenses and ask yourself if everything on there supported your business or not. You're really looking to see what the ROI, the return on investment, is in your business as a whole, and how it relates to the different parts of your business. For example, if you have a book, you need to look at the income versus the expenses for your book. If you have a pattern line, look at the income versus expenses. If you have a pattern line with 30 patterns, you may want to look and see which one of those you can, where you can attribute the money to on the different patterns. Or you can look at this with your art sales. The thing is, you have to understand or know where the money's coming in and where it's going out so you can make good decisions. I want to share one simple idea. Take a card and write on it. What am I going to do today to bring in money in my business? We tend to start each day by checking our email or Facebook. Anybody do that? You should start by asking yourself that question instead. And recently I had one of my clients who told me, she shared this in a group program, that just starting the day and asking herself that question, it made a huge difference in what she was bringing into her business. Since we're about to start the 4th quarter, it's a great time to set up good financial systems that are in place as the year ends. And they'll also be in place as 2018 begins. It is really important to get this grip on the financial aspects of your business. However, you can't manage your revenue, expenses, and profit. If you try to do that from the numbers you collect, it's too late because those things have already happened. Even trying to hold yourself accountable for the revenue portion is really too big an elephant to eat. So you have to look at what drives those and manage the actions, the metrics, and the decisions that produce their profits. So you're getting some historical look, but you have to use that information for this. Quite a few people told me that they didn't know what to charge or couldn't get their customers to understand their pricing. You cannot know what to charge and make a profit if you don't look at your numbers. Knowing your numbers lets you ask better questions, and that leads to better results. So take some time to do this. Secret 3, know your tribe plus build relationships plus take risks. As I said, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. That's true. Your goal is to get to know your tribe, find your tribe, and connect with your tribe. First, you need to know who your ideal customer is. Money comes from people, so it makes a difference if you know who these people are that you're expecting to get money from. How are you going to attract them and have them hear what you have to share? How are you going to get them to know, like, and trust you? The first thing you need to do is identify this person. So you want to start with basic demographics and psychographics. You know what demographics are: the person's age and sex, their education, where they live, You want, and psychographics are things like their interests, opinions, and activities. For example, your ideal customer may, in addition to being an artist, be a gardener or a runner. They may be a member of an art guild. What you're learning is who this person is in detail and where you can find them in large numbers. Both are important. You also need to know what their problem is. So ask yourself this critical question. What is the problem that you solve that keeps your customers up at night? And that's really what your goal is to find out their problem and let them know about your solution. So how do you do this? Some you might know because you actually had that problem and solved it for yourself. If you're stuck getting an answer here, just ask on your Facebook page, business page, or your profile, send an email, and I'm sure you'll get a response because so many of you answered my question, what is your biggest challenge? That was another way of saying, what's keeping you up at night? I suggest that you take this information that you've put together from the psychographics, the demographics, what the problem is, and that you create some kind of an avatar of this person so you have them in mind as you message or develop your product. So getting visible to this market is really your next challenge, and for this you need to create some kind of strategy. Here is where it really helps to know where this customer is hanging out, which is something that you've been discovering. Today, this means using some form of social media. In the arts, that means that your customer is likely on Facebook because just about everybody's on Facebook. Your customer is likely on Pinterest or Instagram. They may be on Google+, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, or Periscope. Every time we turn around, there's a new social media platform that they could be hanging out on. You have lots of ways to get yourself known. So it pays to know where your customer is because that's the person you want to get to know you. When you start to connect, in addition to knowing where that customer is hanging out, you need to understand why you're connecting and what you want to have happen as a result. So you need to have an intention with all this. We all know that Facebook likes aren't going to pay our bills. So you need to do more than post pictures of your artwork. You need to have a strategy to get people to take action. And at the least, get them to your website so that you can get them on your own list. I want to share some specific strategies to build those relationships online. I just mentioned getting people to your website. You need to begin, if you aren't, collecting names of visitors to your website. You do this by asking them for their email address. I find the best way is to offer them something in exchange for their name. This is kind of like when you went to Baskin Robbins and they gave you that pink spoon. You got a taste and then you decided if you want to buy. This person is going to give you their name. They're going to get a taste of what you have to offer and decide if they want to become your customer. Once you do have their names, you need to develop some kind of consistent system to connect with them regularly. They gave you their name, they want to hear from you. So as an example, I've been sending my newsletter every Wednesday for more than a decade. And sure, there are plenty of times I don't feel like writing that newsletter, but I know that there are people out there who want to hear from me. And when I connect with them, I see results. 2 is your blog. This is your platform and your control of the message you deliver. You can be on any kinds of social media out there and everything that you post kind of disappears with time. You may search for it on the internet, but you don't own that content that belongs to the social media platform. If you post something on your blog, you own that content, and that's a great place to keep your content. It's also a good way to share who you are. So if you aren't blogging now, I'd suggest starting. As with your newsletter, consistency is most important. So set a schedule and stick with it. It doesn't have to be every week. It doesn't have to be every day. It could be every week. It could be twice a week. It could be twice a month. It could be once a month. The idea is that you're consistent about this and it starts to drive engagement. Video is another way to get yourself visible online. And if you don't do any video now, try a Facebook live stream on a regular basis, or just try one out to see how it feels for you. One of my clients started a regular broadcast a bit more than a year ago. At the time, she had a Facebook fan following of less than 400 people. Her second live stream was seen by more than 700 people, and her 10th by more than 1,800. Today, she has one Facebook live stream that was seen by 7,400 people. What was the key to her success? She was consistent in appearing. She asked her viewers what they wanted to know, and she answered their questions. She promoted it in her newsletter and also on her business page prior to the call. She promoted it in her Instagram feed and on Pinterest. Today, she has more than 1,700 followers and a strategy to keep them on their list so she can market to them. I don't expect everyone on the call to do what this particular person did. You may only be on one platform, but I just am suggesting that you try a video. And I'm going to add that so many people are uncomfortable with video or with writing or actually putting themselves out there in general. But it's clear that you have something of value to share. So I want you to think about how it is that you can share. Pick the social media platform that most resonates with you. More than one of our ICAP member studio peeps does not like to be on Facebook. For them, Instagram really became a game changer. So my suggestion is to get good at one platform and then see if the others might work for you, and take a chance with video. In all of this area, I like to just say you need to take a risk. People want to get to know you. They don't expect you to be perfect. They just expect you to share yourself with them. If it's uncomfortable for you, it'll become less so the more that you practice, whether that's video or written. So just pick one platform and do it. Secret number 4, working smarter. A lot of people have challenges in this area. They have a lack of focus and are stuck. That might have actually been the number one response I got in my survey. You're the one to pick where you should focus, but I can tell you that in most cases, you should look at what will give you the most return in the shortest time. I think you just need to look at your options and pick one, just one. You can write the others down in a notebook or file on the computer for later. I actually have a notebook behind my desk, and one of the tabs in it says someday ideas. And when I have what I think is a great idea, I will actually go put it on that sheet of paper. The idea is that it gets out of my head. It may or may not seem like a great idea when I'm looking for an idea. And it may be a great idea that I never seem to find time to get to because other things have taken its place. But the key is that I put those great ideas away and picked one thing to work on. If you can't decide between writing a book, creating a new class, working on your next piece of art, or doing a podcast, you aren't going to do any of them. It's about taking action, and I'm going to share 3 ways you can take more action for better results. First, if you want to get results, you have to take what I call focused, consistent action. This is a photo that is in my office. In fact, I can see it right here. It's right next to my computer screen. And it's my reminder. It says, focused, consistent actions lead to success. To really keep that in mind, it also says scattered actions equal scattered results. The quote under that is something else that I like to think about. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. I kind of think they go together. So feel free to make up your own card using my words, but remember that if you want success, your actions have to be focused and consistent. Just as a thought, when you get ready to go on vacation and you know you have so much to get done, what kind of action are you taking? It's pretty much focused, consistent, because you want to get everything out of the way before you leave. So you need to think about how you approach pre-vacation and apply the same principles. Speaking of focus and not scattering, I want to share a graphic from a book that I read earlier this year. The book is called Essentialism. The point the author, Greg McKeown, is trying to make, or is making, is that if you spend all your energy going in multiple directions, then you don't get as far as you could if you focused in just one direction. So go back and look at what's on your plate and pick one focus, not 6. If you're focusing on trying to get in galleries and trying to set up a solo show and working with other artists to create an open house tour and developing a program for your local school to share your work, you are in that splayed energy space. So pick one, take it to the end, and then pick another. The second thing you should do is schedule your priorities. We all say we're going to do this, and some of us actually do. So I like to set an agenda for the next day with only 3 things to complete. And don't pick 3 projects, pick 3 tasks. Break the projects down into tasks and do 3. If you get finished, you will know what to do because there's another task on your list. Start each day by focusing on 2 things, MGAs and ROI. You already know ROI means return on investment. What I call MGAs are money generating activities. So if you have a choice between surfing on, Facebook or billing people who owe you money, you bill people who owe you money because that's going to get you money. And at the end of the day, go back and look at what worked in these areas and what didn't, and then make adjustments. Weekly, I like to hold what I call a success and strategy summit. Again, you look at what worked, what didn't, what you learned, not just about in your business, but also about yourself. For example, maybe you learned that you had a struggle with X and it led to procrastination, or you've got a problem with how your time works, or you get frustrated at something. So it's not just looking at like the work that worked, but like what's inside your mindset that's holding you back. And then look and see what is it that you need to do next week. And then I like to celebrate. People who know me know that at the end of my summit, I pick a celebration. The next idea I'm going to share is simple. Now, I asked this earlier, so I want you to get out that note card and write down, what am I doing today to make money? Secret number 5, don't do it all yourself, get help. So many people are overwhelmed, and one secret to getting past this is not to do it all yourself. You simply shouldn't do it all yourself. It's not about could. We all could do most of these things. It's about should. Should you do it? You'll drive yourself crazy trying to do everything yourself. You won't get it all done. Here's some ways that successful creatives get past this. They automate, they delegate, they systematize, or they delete. So one of the things you should do is know what your role is and then track your tasks. When you start to track what your tasks are, I want you to look at where they fall into this pyramid, whether they're entrepreneurial, managerial, or technician and administrative tasks. Since you're the owner of this business and an entrepreneur, most of your tasks should really be up at the top. So I think when you start to look at your tasks, and I'll say this because so many of us work alone from our homes, or we have a limited staff, that most of, or a lot of our tasks, I don't want to say for all of you, but A lot of our tasks tend to end up down in the technician administrative role. So that's what you need to do, is to figure out what your tasks are and look for what's the right work for you to do. Just this week, we had a discussion in our ICAP book club, and somebody was talking about the frustration she was having uploading a file to YouTube and her website. This is a really good example. She was spending way too much time on this task, and I don't know if frustration was the word for it. It's beyond frustration. Technology's not in her wheelhouse. If she had hired somebody to help her out a couple hours a week, she would be able to use that time better and get a better return. That would be delegation. They also look for ways to use automation instead of doing it all themselves. A simple example here is they use the scheduling feature on Facebook rather than setting a timer to go post or posting whenever it struck them. If you create systems, it's the other thing you should be doing. Create a system if a task is done more than once or twice. So as you're tracking those tasks, you can look and say, well, I keep doing this task. Maybe I need a system. Here are just some ideas of ones I know my clients have used or I've suggested. Handling your fabric or handling your art supplies. On a recent teleclass on organizing, one of the listeners contacted me about how she would start the year with her fabric all organized, and then her studio quickly became unmanageable. And it was something she repeated on a frequent basis. It became a mess, she cleaned it up. I suggested that she write down her process for storing her fabric. That is, develop a system for storing her fabric, folding it, putting it away, where did it go, and then hire a high school girl to come in a couple times a week to put it back to order. Let this person focus on what we could call her brilliance or genius. If you're a painter, you can have somebody organize your studio and your framing area each week. No matter where your art is, there's some tasks that you do a lot that you could hire somebody to do at a minimal cost. What about teaching or media requests? Do you scramble looking for all the materials to send when you get a request to teach or promote your business? You can create a system to keep all those materials easily accessible in folders on your computer, or if you're still using a physical system, and your file cabinet to include photos, short and long bios, your resume, things like that. This will make it less stressful for you when you have to look for something and recreate something to give to somebody asking for information. Online marketing has a lot of examples of automation and systems. Sending out your newsletter, that's a system. Do you use a shopping cart in an autoresponder? That can use a system. What I would suggest for these is creating a schedule to take care of these tasks. For example, if you send out a newsletter and blog posts and other social media content, you can set aside several hours, one day a week, to work on that, and you can schedule them ahead of time. An in-person assistant or a virtual assistant could be valuable in setting up and maintaining these for you. That allows you time to work on the activities in that top part of that triangle that are really going to add to the bottom line for your business. Another idea, because I know we have shop owners on this call, and I've worked with several of them who are interrupted by staff asking questions and asking the same question more than once. And this works no matter whether you're a shop owner or not. If you get questions, create an FAQ, a frequently asked questions document, where you can answer these questions. If someone doesn't know where to look for the answers or doesn't know the answers, they now know where to look for them in your FAQ, and they're more inclined to get the answer as opposed to come interrupt you. Another way that people get help is through peers and coaches. And that's what the ICAP Member Studio is designed to do. And I want to introduce that to you now. First, I want to tell you that we've covered a lot. So we've looked at your business as a business. We looked at your finances, why you need to watch your finances. We talked about knowing your tribe, finding your tribe, and connecting with your tribe. We talked about working smarter, and we talked about getting help. So how do you keep learning so your business keeps growing? I think you learn in a variety of ways. You can read books, you can go to workshops or programs or events, and you can have private coaching or group coaching. And I think all three work really well together to build your business. And I wanted to introduce you and invite you to join a program that integrates all three, the ICAP Members Studio. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the program. You'll see the website on the bottom of the slide, icapmemberstudio.com. And I know we have people on the call who are members already. It's really your source for everything you need to craft a successful business from your passion. And we've been helping creatives since 2009 do just this. We have literally helped thousands of people turn their creative dreams into reality. So isn't it time that you decided to leave the frustrations of not knowing how to grow your business or being stuck because it's not growing as fast as you want? I want to share now some of the details of what you get inside the Members Studio. You can also read more at our website, icapmemberstudio.com. Each month we have a social media or a business focus. We're going to pick one thing to focus on, one area each month to build your business. This could be something like growing your Facebook page, building your email list, understanding your customer, having a pop-up shop, which somebody suggested to me just the other day. We'll have short training videos and webinars, and depending on the focus, we may have a friendly competition going on. We also have a live group Q&A. Each month you have the opportunity to gather with other Members Studio peers to ask questions. I'll facilitate the conversation and answer any business questions you have. If you can't attend the calls, you can send a question ahead of time. The calls will be recorded and available for 3 months. We also have a live book club discussion. So each month you have the opportunity to gather with other Members Studio peers to discuss a book and its implications for your business. The call is done via video conferencing, just like this, only we see each other. We'll record it, and it will be in your Members Studio hub. Somebody made the comment at our call this week that we didn't just talk about books, we solved people's business problems. Something new that we're adding is a live goal planning workshop. Each month during the last week, you're going to gather for a planning session. I think I'm going to do it on Zoom. You're going to review what you accomplished and set your goals for next month. The call will be recorded and available in your Members Studio hub until the workshop for the next month. Also have access to an accountability partner. You can connect with somebody via our Members Studio Facebook group. I think people make progress more rapidly if they're held accountable. So this is a great opportunity that you don't want to miss. You also get a subscription to Where Women Create Business, the quarterly magazine. This is meant to inspire you in your creative business journey, and it's packed with how-to tips and inspiration that will really help you. I want to note that this benefit is only available in the US. The shipping costs are very high outside the US, so we chose not to offer it to our subscribers outside the US. We feel that they would benefit from everything else in the group, and most of them are not willing to pay this really extra cost for the magazine. You also have access to a resource library with more than 100 audio recordings and other webinars and trainings. We have the Facebook group that I mentioned where you connect, you can ask questions, you can share your wins. It's really about being able to connect with your peers. And we also have discounts from some of our partners. You might wonder if joining the ICAP Members Studio really can make a difference. The answer is yes. And I want to share some of the results from some of our current members. This is from Chris Poor. Being a member of ICAP has so many benefits. Sometimes it's tough being a creative business owner. This group of talented entrepreneurs will not let you go it alone. If you need answers to solve a problem, someone's got it. If you need a boost, there is support in social media group. If you have a question about sales, marketing, website design, the list could go on. Someone will share their experiences with you. I have been a member of ICAP since 2012, and I'll continue to be one, as it is, as they say, priceless. From Carrie Schell. Carrie wrote really a lot about why she valued ICAP. I was introduced to Morna through a business consultant I had hired to help me get my fledgling quilting business off the ground. After listening to a series of webinars, I knew she was exactly what I needed to jumpstart my business. So I joined ICAP and signed up for my first CABS. CABS introduced me to a lot of like-minded entrepreneurs who were in various stages of their own quilting business. I finally felt like I had a group that both understood my dreams and passion, along with a willingness to provide support and advice as I worked through my business model and moved to bring my hobby-like business to the next level. I became a regular attender at ICAP business calls, along with the group coaching sessions. I was truly a sponge in those early days, soaking up all the knowledge I could and implementing aspects that made sense in my business. With the encouragement of the group, I made the decision to quit my full-time corporate job in mid-2015 and take on my business full-time. At that point, I hired Morna as a coach to help me ensure a strong start for that business. I've never regretted that decision. Morna always seems to have a piece of advice that gets to the heart of whatever issue I am currently dealing with in my business. She encouraged me to blog, create newsletters, and post regularly on Facebook. This helped me to learn that my sweet spot in the industry was in teaching and coaching on the design aspects of quilting. Because I'm also a pattern designer, I can also assist in translating designs to published patterns. I have strong technical skills in electric quilt and art and stitch, and am effective at assisting students to learn to love these programs and to become effective users of the software. I now do 80% of my teaching online and am enjoying the freedom this provides me to also enjoy other aspects of my life. I have a newsletter following of over 4,000 subscribers and manage a large public EQ Facebook group with over 2,000 members. My recent Catch the Waves program to learn EQ in 2 weeks has had over 2,000 participants, with only 3 opt-outs during daily classes. My business became profitable in year 2, and I'm excited with my current year 3 results, and I feel like I'm beginning to reap the benefit of my investment in my business. I continue to look to ICAP and CABS members as valuable team members and advisors for my business. My investment in both was one of the best decisions I have made, and I look forward to the ongoing association as I continue to grow and develop my business. Carrie comes to almost everything we offer, and her business has grown tremendously as a result. From Celine Perkins. I joined ICAP in 2012. I had been in business as a pattern designer for about 10 years and was looking for a way to grow. I love the independence and flexibility that working for myself allows. But since I'm a one-woman business, I sometimes felt isolated. Joining ICAP and working with Morna has given me access to other creatives who are in the same situation. I have resources and people who understand where I'm coming from. The benefits of membership are many. I attended CABS several years ago, and it was life-changing for me and my business. I was able to refocus on my priorities and move forward. I can't emphasize enough how beneficial the networking opportunities are. Morna is a great coach. I appreciate how approachable she is, and especially her ability to sort through things and get to the issue at hand. So I want to ask you, what would your life be like if you had the right help and support to grow your business? So you might wonder, what's the investment for all of this? Knowledge to grow your business, connection with your peers, support for your challenges. Your investment is only $17.97 a month. and you can cancel at any time with 30 days notice. You can also pay in full at $197 and save some money. Now I want to say the pricing is only good through Thursday, September 28th. At that time, we are literally closing our doors to new members until 2018. And the monthly price will increase. So why are we closing our doors? We've had an open membership forever. The reason is because I really want to focus on providing value to our members without having to continually promote the membership. It's really about my being available to people in the membership. So that's why we're closing the open enrollment. We'll probably open sometime in early 2018. So this is really your chance if you're interested in joining this year. So I also like to reward action takers. So if you sign up before we close the doors, I'm going to gift you with an $800 discount off the regular price to attend the Creative Arts Business Summit. And you have until the end of the year to take advantage of that opportunity. And CABS is the end of April next year. Bonus 2, I created an Expand Your Reach scheduling tool, which is perfect for tracking your social media. And we're going to send you that. We're going to place all these things in the Members Hub. So if you're already a member, this is a new benefit for you. And bonus 3 is our ICAP Member Studio exclusive weekly intention and celebration focus tool. I want to share just a few more success stories with you. Laura Estes, when the invitation came to join ICAP, I decided to give it a try. All the benefits of ICAP have helped me increase business income about 30%. Tips on brand creation and focusing on benefits to customers, as well as having an organized sales plan, has made our last 2 quilt markets our best ever, with a nearly 50% increase in the number of orders written at market. As a result of practicing timely follow-up suggestions learned from ICAP, I've gained a 30% increase in aftermarket reorders. Promoting the benefits of our Build Your Own Trunk Show resulted in nearly triple the number of trunk shows booked at market. I haven't begun to tap into nearly all the ICAP benefits, but I can say from experience, this is a very helpful association to belong to, answering your quilting business questions with expert advice. Elaine Huff. I decided to work with Morna for a couple of different reasons. One reason was that I knew I needed guidance if I really wanted my business to grow, and other programs I looked at were not specific to the quilting and textile arts industry. The other reason was the caliber of her clientele. During the monthly ICAP calls, I started to recognize names of people whom I would consider to be in the big leagues. Working with Morna has resulted in my business growing much faster than I anticipated. Marketing plan is in place. Sales have increased by 65%. Virtual assistant has been hired, and the expansion of products and services is happening. All in all, it's been a rewarding learning experience. Morna has taught me how to prioritize, focus, and complete projects that move my business forward. If you want to take your business to the next level, I recommend you take advantage of the programs Morna offers through ICAP. And finally, from Kate Colleran, to me, quilting is all about community. When you're in the business, it's easy to get isolated in your own world, especially when you're a pattern designer who works from home. Working with others in your same field or with others in a different creative field and sharing ideas, collaborating, and finding people who have your back can help you grow your business. Morna has created a safe place with like-minded creative individuals who are all there to grow their business and help you grow yours. A place where help is readily available and others are happy and excited when you succeed. A place where people share their knowledge and protect your ideas. A place where you can grow as a person, as a business owner, and as a creative professional. I hope that you've resonated with some of those and that you can see yourself in some of these stories. And if you may have noticed that many of these people were quilters. Not everybody in in ICAP Member Studio is a quilter, but they're all creative and they all want you to succeed as much as they want to succeed. So I just want to recap what your benefits are. We have the social media or business focus of the month. We have the live group Q&A. We have the live book discussion. We have the live goal planning workshop. Everything's recorded that's live, so if you can't be there, you can listen later. We have an accountability partner. We have Where Women Create Business Quarterly. We've also got the Facebook group. It's $17.97 per month or $197 annually. Some of our bonuses are discounted ticket to cabs, our social media scheduling and tracking tool, weekly intention and celebration focus tool. You can read more about this and join at icapmembersstudio.com. So I'm going to say, if you're resonating with what I'm offering, then I want to ask you what you're waiting for. Now is really the time to take decisive action to move your business to the next level. Don't wait until 2018 to be involved with this truly supportive environment. Join and start seeing results beginning today. And again, the website is www.icapmembersstudio.com. And if you have any questions, you can connect with us at support@creativeartsprofessional.com. So I want to say thanks for joining me on the webinar. And I promised I'd go back and look through the chat to see if there was questions I needed to answer. So I'm going to do that. And if you have questions, you might post them there, which there's a lot of chatting here. So I love where everybody was from and when they started getting involved. And people who've been on webinars with me. Okay, here's some, Lynette said, I did not expect how my business would become. I found that thinking like a business, it has made all the difference in how I represent myself to others and to the outside world. Big changes on how I do many things in my day. And I think this note's going to help her, and I think that was my note about what am I doing today to bring in money. Cynthia says she did this when she started the B&B, but not able to do it with crafts. I think crafts are kind of like bright, shiny objects. Sandy loves that about the book club. Sandy listens to the book club calls even though she can't come. Yes, Lynette listens too. The accountability is huge. Oh, Susan said, thanks for reinforcing some of the things I learned from CABS and in the coaching call. Cynthia, did you get a certificate when doing ICAP? Well, I hadn't thought about a certificate, but, you know, I'll have to think about it. Susan said she's in. Hooray. We got somebody else joined this morning. John joined this morning. I know I've gotten some other questions, and I want to just address a question I got about more quilting related or not. And I want to say the answer is it's not quilting related. And maybe somebody in the group could answer that because you are, you're in the group. It's not quilting related. It's related to the people in the group. So if you're a mixed media artist and we are reading a book, I'm reading all the books right along with you. I'm reading them ahead, and I know who's on the call. I know who the members are. And if you're a mixed media artist, what I'm going to do is say, in relation to the book, well, okay, for example, the last book we read was called Uncontainable. And I went through and I said, here's one of the author's foundation principles. This is how I think this applies to a retail store. Do you see how this can apply to you if you have a store? He had something specific about vendor-supplier relationships. And so we talked about that in relation to whatever anybody's business is. So you don't have, it's not strictly quilting. You will find more quilters in the group because that was where I started. But as more and more people join ICAP, you'll find people who are beyond quilting. what they really have in common, and I think you go back and read what Kate said, it's really about the creativity or being in a group with creative people. Oh, Susan asked, is there a code you need for the bonuses when you register? No, we know who you are, and if we'll send you an email in a couple weeks. We've got lots of emails going out to let people know about the changes that we're making, particularly because it's going to be closed. And we'll send you a code to use to come to CABS. The other tools, we're doing a little updating on the website, and we will let everybody know when that's there, and then the new tools are in there. Sandy asked, do current members have automatic renewal? Yes, you do. And if you're a current member, you should get an email in the next few days telling you what's happening and letting you know that if you need to know when you renew, to let me know. Because whatever you joined at, you're grandfathered into that price. So if you joined less than the price that we have on right now, you stay that price as long as you maintain your membership. If you let your membership lapse, you have to come in at a new price. The best way to max out an Etsy store, is that discussed? We do have people who have Etsy stores, Cynthia, so the best thing to do there would be to actually go into the Facebook group and start a conversation with some of them, or ask that we have that be a conversation for the month, and we could do a business focus of Etsy. I know a couple people in there have Etsy stores. Elaine, Elaine from Fabric 406 has an Etsy store. And that's, actually she sells through her Etsy store as opposed to through her website. Okay, well, Lynette says the group helps her. Okay, Kirsten wants to know the samples, an idea of the books. Okay, so we read Uncontainable. That was the story. That's the story of the Container Store. We read Essentialism. We read The One Thing. I have to actually look. Those are the three that jump up from me right away. We read The Magnolia Story about Chip and Joanna Gaines and what the business lessons were from there that we could apply to our business. We read Profit First. Anybody else can remember some of the books that we read? Rework. Oh, right. That was a good book. We read Rework. Oh, Cynthia, I think the accountability is going to be it's going to help you by staying on track and just keeping moving forward with the other tools that we have. And I want to talk a little bit about the group Q&A, which, I mean, we have different people who show up for different things, and not everybody can come, though anybody can go back and listen. And each call is different depending on who's on the call. But if you have a problem, as I said, you could email it. You show up and you ask. You don't just get my wisdom, you get the wisdom of everybody on the call. And people have different experiences, which is one of the things I think is great about the calls, is the sharing of experience. So is this like a listserv? Not really. So I'm not quite sure I understand. Most of the chatting takes place in the Facebook group, will take place in the Facebook group. The others are live calls where we will chat live. And then, as I said, their recordings will be available for you to listen to for a period of time. So if you're currently a member, if you heard me say that we're going to have I'm going to save the Q&As for 3 months and the planning for 1 month. You can go in and download what's in there before I take them out. Patty, are the calls set days and times of the week? Yes, most of them. Right now, the group Q&A is on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. The book club is at 4 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. I haven't decided yet when the goal planning workshop is going to be. It's either going to be it could be on a Tuesday or Thursday. I'm kind of weighing whether I want to just make it be the last day of the month, the last weekday of the month at a certain time, like 4, but I don't want to do it at 4 on a Friday. So I may poll the group and ask them what days and times work best for them. May also, depending on who's in the group, I may also find out if people would like every other month having a call at a different time. But for right now, they are set. People put them on their calendars. And I picked those times because I felt it was lunchtime if it was 1 in the East Coast, it made it noon and 11 Central and Mountain Time. It was kind of lunchtime. So that was why I did that. Let me see if we have any other questions. It truly is a great way to connect with other creatives and find support. Okay, so if we'll wait another minute. I'm going to say anybody on the call that's already in ICAP that wants to share what they've gotten from the group. Yeah, Cynthia, getting involved with your fellow creatives is making the connections through Facebook, and I know that people have gone on to create relationships, and I know people that okay, how to send referrals. I know that one of the interesting things that's come out of ICAP and also CABS, it's hard to separate them sometimes, is that a lot of the designers, and you should tell me what you do, Cynthia, because I think that you are on Etsy, but a number of the designers have actually formed joint ventures to promote their businesses together. And they all met through ICAP programs. I'm getting some good ideas here. So let's just wait another minute and see if you have any other questions. And if not, we should just stay on because Cynthia's going to have come up with all kinds of ideas for me. Okay, the Facebook group it's called ICAP Members Studio. Oh gosh. Now I'll say, Kristen, we don't talk about how big our membership is. There's enough members for connections, and the Facebook group has less than 100 members. There's people who are members who choose not to be on Facebook, so they're missing out on that. They will show up on the calls, but they don't belong to the Facebook group. Cynthia, I would love for you to get the women you know involved with ICAP as well. Just since you're on my email list, just forward them the recording. We'll be sending you a copy of the recording or send them to the webpage and let them see what we have on there. Can you link the Facebook? You can't link the group because it's a private group that is only for members. I think if I understand your question right. We do have a public group, which is called Creative Passion to Profit, but it's still private, but it's open to anyone that is in a creative field. Okay, let me ask any other questions? Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and end the webinar. I want to thank you all for taking time from your day to join me. I realize how busy you all are and that you could have done a lot of other things beside join me on this webinar. So I really appreciate your doing that, and I want you to see really good results in your business. And I'm looking forward to a lot of you joining us in the ICAP members studio. I think that you'll find it really beneficial. So I know we're going to send you a follow-up, several follow-ups to be sure that you know what's involved and how you can join. And if you have any questions, again, you just need to drop me a note, or you can write to us at support@Creative Arts Professional, and somebody will get back with you. I get that email, my team gets that email. So somebody will get back with you and answer your questions. So thanks again, and have a fabulous afternoon and a fabulous weekend, because here we are on Friday afternoon. So I'm looking forward, as I said, to seeing you all in the members studio.